The recipes, views, and opinions expressed in this channel are solely those of the speaker. They do not reflect, collaborate, or substitute the views and opinions of a medical health professional. Please consult a professional with any dietary concerns and inquiries prior to trying the recipes. Welcome to the channel.
I'm cooking in Namia. I'm cooking in Namia.
Hey guys, thank you for clicking on this video to get my Black Seed Artisan Bread. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. The goal of this channel is to provide you with recipes that are nutritious and satisfying without breaking your calorie banks or sacrificing on flavor, while providing you insights into some must-have ingredients. Now, this recipe is high in fiber and protein. It contains traces of calcium, iron, and good fats. Now, this recipe is true to artisan bread recipes, but what makes it unique is the old spice that we will be covering shortly, and the drastic reduction of fats and animal products in it, so it's making it a vegan-friendly recipe. So without further ado, let's jump into the recipe. Now, into a small bowl, you're going to mix some yeast and a cup of water with about a quarter teaspoon of honey. Mix this well, cover it, and set it aside for about 5 to 10 minutes. Now, you might not need all that time, because all you really need to see is a cloud that forms on top of this mixture. That will tell you that the yeast is active. If you do not have the traditional active yeast, you can also use rapid rising yeast, but how to use this is a bit different. You do not need to go through the proofing process. All you need to do is mix it into the dry ingredients, and it will work in the same way as using the active yeast. However, I would prefer to try and do the proofing process first in order to make sure that our yeast is active and you're not wasting ingredients. Now, into a large mixing bowl, you are going to mix some whole wheat flour, organic preferably, and 1 cup of artisan flour. Now, this is my white version of flour that I use. As long as it's unbleached and organic, it will work. And then you're going to add some salt, the palm sugar, and the black seeds, and then you're going to mix these dry ingredients well. Then go ahead and grab your proofed yeast and add it into the dry ingredients, and then add an additional half a cup of warm water. Mix that with a fork. And then once all the dry ingredients have started to incorporate it into the wet, now you're going to be using clean hands and you're going to knead the ingredients properly. Now, you can knead it in the bowl or you can knead it on a clean surface. It's up to you. I prefer to leave it in the bowl. And once it has formed into a ball, you do not necessarily have to knead it that long. You just form it into a ball, and then you will be taking about 1 tablespoon of olive oil to add into it, and then make sure that it mix and incorporate that very well. And then once it's in a proper bowl, then go ahead and drizzle about 1 teaspoon of olive oil over the dough, and make sure you're spreading it over the dough properly and around the bowl. Then cover it with a plastic wrap and a cloth, and then set it in a warm place for about 1 to 2 hours. Now, the goal here is for that dough to double in size, and so that we can be able to move to the next step. So while our dough is proofing, let's go ahead and jump into the old spice of the day. Now, the old spice of today goes by the scientific name of Nigella sativa. It is also known as black seeds or black cumin. Now, it originated from Southeast Asia, and it was known to have been used during the Egyptian times, the Greek times, the Middle East, and also in Africa. So it is pretty much predominantly most of Africa and Asia use here on this one. It also goes by the name of kalonji. I was about to say something else. But it goes by the name of kalonji, and the seeds come from a family known as the buttercup family of flowering plants. Now, this is how old this spice is. It's been over 4,000 years and has been used in various parts of the world. Now, the black seed herb goes by so many different names. Old Latin the Old Latin language knew it as panacea, which means curing all. In the Arabic, it is used as habaswada. I hope I said that right. And it's also also known as habat el barak, translated as seeds of blessing. In India, it is called kalonji, while in China, it's known as hakjungcho. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. So it goes by very different names. Now, thousands of years ago, black seed oil, also known as Nigella sativa oil, was used by the Egyptians, and royalties like Nefertiti and Cleopatra actually used it for medicinal purposes, as well as making sure that their skin remained healthy and beautiful. Now, the seeds were actually found in the in the Egyptian pharaoh's tomb, King Tut, which reflects the degree of significance these seeds had during the ancient Egyptian times. Now, additionally, Nigella sativa is also mentioned in like the Old Testament. If you go to Isaiah chapter 28, verse 25 to 27, I had to look that up. I don't have that at the top of my head, so don't catch me on that one. And then also in Islamic prophetic traditions, it is known as the seed that cures every illness except death. I actually came to learn about the black seed in the Arabic culture, where they typically would take about a quarter teaspoon of the seeds mixed with about half a teaspoon of honey daily, and that's their way of maintaining their bodies. Now, today, the black seed is used for treatments of digestive tracts and conditions that include gas, colic, diarrhea, dysentery, constipation, hemorrhoids. It's also used for respiratory conditions like asthma, allergies, coughing, bronchitis, emphysema, flu, the swine flu, digestion. It's just one of those seeds that just have like medicinal properties through and through. Now, if you take it in the black seed oil version, or in the oil version, it is used to treat conditions. Once again, asthma comes up, high blood pressure, diabetes, inflammations, coughing, headache, eczema, fever, dizziness, and once again, flu. So this is a very versatile seed. Now, I'm going to caution you. This seed does have allergic reactions. It can cause things like rashes, upset stomachs, vomiting, constipation. It may even increase seizures in people who actually do suffer from seizures. And if it's applied on your skin or gel, it may cause some kind of reaction to it. I personally have experienced the reaction. When I would take it, I'd get a bit lightheaded. And what I came to find out is that it has blood thinning properties. So when you are taking this, be very cautious about how much you are taking and how you're ingesting it. And if you react to it, I highly recommend that you speak to a medical professional before you actually proceed with the use of this. I use it in very limited quantities, and in this recipe I limit the quantity that's good for me. So when you are making this recipe, make sure you are thinking about how much you're putting in it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a little bit about the black seed. So let us return to our dough. So at this point, our dough has proofed and become about 2 times the size. So on a clean surface, you're going to be sprinkling some flour, and then place the dough onto that flour, and you're going to knead that dough into a ball. And then you're going to go ahead and grab a Dutch oven if you have one, and you're going to place some parchment paper to it. I place parchment paper because I'm lazy and I do not want to clean up, but if you want to put oil inside the Dutch oven, feel free to do so. I use shortcuts because we ain't got the time to be spending a whole lot of time in the kitchen. But place the dough on top of the parchment paper into that Dutch oven. Drizzle some honey on it. If you do not want to use honey, use oil. I use honey because I want the seeds to stick to it. And then I'm going to sprinkle some black seeds all around it and spread it well on top of the dough so that it can actually stick into the dough. And then cover the Dutch oven with its lid and let it sit in a warm area for another 1 to 2 hours until it doubles in size. Now, while that is taking place, you're going to go ahead and preheat your oven to 450 degrees. Also, I believe that's 235 Celsius, but do not hold me to it. And then you're going to go ahead and once it has preheated, you're going to go ahead and put the Dutch oven into the oven. Hey, that was a tongue twister. Dutch oven into the oven. Put it into the oven, and then you're going to set your timer for about 30 minutes. Please do not open the oven in this time during this process. Let it cook for the entire 30 minutes. And then once the 30 minutes is up, go ahead and remove the cover to the Dutch oven. And you're going to set your timer to about 2 to 5 minutes. Now, if you set it at 2 minutes, you just want slight brown on it. I like that dark brown kind of cover on it, so I'll set mine to 5. And then I will go ahead and let it bake for that remaining time. And then once that is done, I will take it out of the oven, and what I usually do is I'll tap it with my nail, and if I hear a hollow sound to it, then that means the bread is done. If I do not hear that hollow sound, I'm putting it back into the oven for about another 5 minutes, and make sure you have it covered this time around because you do not want to burn the bread at this point. And then go ahead and turn off your oven. You have the option to eat it soft, or you can eat it crusty. Not crusty, but a hard crust. Crusty. I said crusty. You have the option to eat it as a hard crust. Now, I usually like it soft, so I will leave the cover on it. If you want to have a hard crust, you need to take it out of the Dutch oven and place it on a cooling rack and let it cool for about 1 to 2 hours. Now, this bread is something that you can make in like large quantities because it actually does hold for a very long time if you store it in the freezer. Usually what I will do is I will slice the bread up and then I'll put it into an airtight bag and I will place it in the freezer. If you want to leave it on the counter, it will last for about 3 to 4 days on the counter. If you place it in the refrigerator, it's going to last about 7 to 8 days at the most before it starts tasting funny. But when I usually do it, I will keep it in the freezer and it lasts up to 3 weeks. But I usually consume it before the 3 weeks is over anyway. But it can hold in the freezer for 3 weeks and you're not going to get that freezer burn or that effect that comes with the freezer burn. And I just use a good old Ziploc bag and just suck the air out of it, and it works absolutely perfectly. And that is my simple baked Black Seed Artisan Bread. Thank you so much for watching the entire video. Please be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified when I post new recipes on YouTube. Please be sure to sign up on my website, I'm Cooking with Namia, to get full recipe details. You can also purchase this downloadable recipe on my site along with any other of your favorite recipes from my channel. Your support will keep these recipes coming and is greatly appreciated. See you on the next video.